promoters and civil society organizations together with the goal of informing as many EU citizens as possible about the existence of the ongoing European Citizen Initiative and the possibility for them, for the EU citizens, to sign 1, 2, 3, 4, 14 European Citizen Initiative potentially all together. It's also a concrete set of proposals because we believe that they can also be an offer to the Conference on the Future of Europe, and thanks to the coalition Citizens Take Over Europe, which is the key supporting member of this EU Sign Day through the network of over 50 organizations here, we think there is a space there to include the ECI's proposal in the Conference on the Future of Europe. It's also a democratic gift to the EU institutions in the sense that we conceived the appointment as a proposal, concrete, learning by doing of how a EU Sign Day could work as an opportunity to, for one day every year, shed the lights on all the ongoing European Citizen Initiative, a sort of a proof that democracy doesn't happen only at the electoral moment, but also in between, and inviting everyone to sign is this type of proposal to the EU institutions. We are all in dialogues with already the Commission, the European Economic and Social Committee, and the other EU bodies to kind of bring this further on, and we will try in these weeks before the 9th of May to do this more and more. So what we will launch and when? So first of all, you already seen it, the campaign logo. Thanks to Alicia for having worked on that in very short amount of time. We tried to combine a European feeling to that with the concept of the signing day, but also to not be too institutional, because it's still a sort of a alternative, or at least, as I said, an offer to the institutions. The logo is available in multiple versions. There will be a one common website, and I'm gonna share the website that is not yet alive because we are alive. No, it's alive, but it's not live because we are still finalizing some of the work on that. But the idea is to have one common website on the domain eusignday.eu, where we will try to drive all the traffic and the attention as possible in the next weeks. And I'm gonna share that in a bit. But it's conceived in such a way that the only call to action is the focus on signing the European Citizen Initiative, but also to follow the process that we are kicking off with this action. We will launch a self-funded survey through YouGov, and maybe later on, Helvig, if it's connected, can explain this a little further. But the investment is a 6,000 euros investment, and we still need to fundraise part of that. So one of the reasons why you're here is also to see if you might be interested in helping with that. It's going to be a survey based on 2 closed questions on 4 EU member states. We identified Italy, Germany, Finland, Portugal as the states where we will run this, with one goal, which is understanding the real level of awareness among EU citizens on the European Citizen Initiative instrument, but also an opportunity for starting media relations on the topics and on the instrument of the ECI, since one of the biggest challenges that journalists across the EU don't consider probably enough political the impact of ECIs. There will be a policy briefing, so to define what is the real and potential impact of European Citizen Initiative, and Yasmina from Voters Without Borders European Citizen Initiative here will tell us a bit more about that once we finish this section. And a social media campaign based on 3 main hashtags. The first one actually is "The Future is Yours," which is the hashtag of the Conference on the Future of Europe. And we think that using that in the outreach for this campaign, it's important both for increasing the reach of the EU Sign Day, but also for giving the message of the ECIs as part of the debate around the Conference on the Future of Europe. Then, of course, the EU Sign Day and the I Signed as an action that each citizen can do in the next weeks toward the 9th of May. The idea is that this is not just a one-day action. First of all, it starts before the 9th of May, but also it will go on thanks to the work of Citizens Take Over Europe, the Eumans, Alliance for Europe, the ECI campaign, Democracy International, and all the other organizations involved and that want to be involved. As I said, to transform these proposals and to inject them in the Conference on the Future of Europe, to create a community for a better, stronger European citizen initiative for the future, but also an appeal to the European institutions, potentially to be transformed into a petition to the European Parliament to propose concrete reforms in this sense, in particular in the field of information. 9th of May is the day where the campaign kind of climax, but you can start to promote Usain Day as soon as we are live with the website, basically. And what you can do, so there are 5 main actions that everyone can do to support the ECI. The first one is to include the Usain Day logo and link into the communications that you will have around the Europe Day event, before, around, and after. The second action is, send an email, ideally a dedicated email to all your newsletter subscribers to ask them to check out the usainday.eu website and invite them to sign the initiatives with a clear call to action for that. We have some visual assets that can be used for this purpose. And invite the Usain Day team, so the different ECI's promoters or the civil society organizations that will support these 2 events that are going to be organized for Europe Day, but also invite the ECI promoters on the topics that they are carried on the initiative to be invited into panels. And this is an invite not only for Europe Day, but in general, considering the promoters of ECIs as subject matter experts on certain topics. It's also a way to give visibility to the instrument in itself. You can support financially the campaign. All the money donated will be invested either into the survey or in the social media advertising activities for the campaign, with the goal of reaching as many EU citizens as possible. And then, of course, every idea is a good idea if we realize it with your help, meaning that if you have other actions and other ideas that can be implemented, of course, they can be discussed. The thing is that all the ECI's committees are involved in their own collection of signatures and other initiatives. So the idea is involve us and see what we can do. But I think each organization has its own raison d'etre, and so different ways that where maybe this can be deployed and implemented. I hope this wasn't too long, but I wanted to give the big picture to everyone. And I think we can see the website a bit later on toward the end maybe, but I would like to be sure that everyone has a chance to speak tonight. So you can write your name in the chat if you want to speak. We have Yasmina from Voters Without Borders with some perspective on the policy briefing, and maybe the other promoters of the Usain Day wants to explain who they are, but also why they got involved in this project. Let's keep this as open as possible. I don't know if Yasmina is ready, maybe about the impact of the ECI.
Yes, of course, my connection just froze, I'm sorry. So hello everyone, I'm glad to meet you. I'm a member of Voters Without Borders, and we would like to build a policy paper on ECIs. And as a first statement, we took an article written by Calypso Nicolaidis and Peter Morkavik, 2 members of the new School of Transnational Governance at the European University of Florence, who support our position. So first, let's remind ourselves the transnational nature of ECIs being ignored by the European institutions and unfortunately seen as not enough ambitious. However, we, and I mean the European Union, could be proud to have launched this kind of participatory democracy mechanism. But what are the concrete records? Since the beginning of this crazy adventure, 101 ECIs have requested registration with a rate of 1 per month approximately. Great number, right? It indeed shows the ambition of European civil societies. However, out of these 101, 76 were registered, and only 7 collected 1 million signatures. Most striking, what are the potential legislative promises and outcomes of the successful ECIs? Almost nothing, or a late response as showed by the Drinking Water Directive revision by the European Commission only 9 years after the Right to Water initiative succeeded. So, why ECIs have trouble to succeed and have a wider impact? Well, according to the authors, European actors were already divided on the conception of democracy and citizen participation in itself. Some saw the ECI as a direct democracy instrument, some as a participative one, and others as a deliberative democracy tool. Finally, it was the first option that won, namely a transnational instrument of direct democracy. Sounds great, right? It would indeed normally enable citizens to directly express their preferences through legislative proposal or referenda. However, the European Commission played on the ambiguous denomination of this tool and presented it as a more transnational deliberation instrument rather than empowering citizens to take part in decision-making. The institution clearly wanted to protect its close decision-making process and took an opportunistic stance by using this new instrument as a solution in face of the well-known democratic deficit or the general indifference of citizens. Civil societies and stakeholders, however, fought to change the expectation gap between the direct democracy aspiration and final outcomes to finally obtain last year a new ECI regulation easier to use. However, as the authors point, the conclusion made on ECI are still not very optimistic. A mere transnational agenda-setting tool enabling debates on cared issues for citizens ignored by politicians. Now, how can we become more ambitious? According to the authors, if one wants to avoid the heavy task of changing the treaties, the 3 European institutions should engage in support more all the actors that put their ideas and time together when engaging in a difficult transnational and bottom-up process. The 3 institutions should support organizers and supporters, as we are, from the beginning of their efforts. Otherwise, without such help and recognition, all the hard work and connection will fade and disappear. Nikolaidis and Markovic even talk about a democratic race. Should it not be the ambition of the European Commission to nurture and take care of such European transnational bonds to sustain a more democratic and friendly integration? We, the citizens, need political and institutional support, as well as a real institutional culture of ECI. We need no more to be the only ones engaged in the process. And this starts, for example, with our project that can be supported by the institutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yasmina. Thanks a lot. And this kind of conceptual overview is going to be part of what we will try to present as well in a press conference together with the survey results and of course the voices of all of you who wants to be involved in the project. As part of the dialogue with the institutions that we are trying to build to propose this shift from the activation of ECIs to the signatures of ECIs, we also outreached the European Direct Center because we believe, of course, they play an important role in this. And I'm super happy to have with us Jenny Paul from the European Direct in Munich, who might want to say something to us or to herself.
Thank you, Virginia. I'm happy to be here today. Hello to everyone. So I have to just first of all say that before I joined the Europe Direct Center here in Munich, I was actually just as you, an actor in civil society, and I wrote my master's thesis way back when on the topic of the ECI. So it's a subject close to my heart. Let's put it this way. I think a few things that I know from my past, but also now is what you already know, and what Virginia also said is, especially for ECIs, there's a few things that we have to consider. And I think this is where the Europe Direct Network may be able to help you as well, if they want. So just a few things on the Europe Direct, just in case you don't know. There's around 500 Europe Direct centers across all of Europe. It's a project funded by the European Commission, with a small proportion funded by the European Commission. So there's there's always a local actor. It could be a city council, it could be an association, a library, whatever, that actually organizes this Europe Direct Center. Our job is to help talk about Europe and to talk to citizens about Europe, about the European Union, of course, as well, but also about Europe, about European ideas, values, etc. So it is our job to make sure that things like the ECI tools that are available to citizens are actually promoted. However, as you can imagine, we have a long list of things that we are supposed to talk about. And obviously every other day there is some event or some highlight or something. So it's very much down to the Europe Direct managers to kind of filter out, okay, well, what is happening locally, what is important to the citizens locally, etc. But so if you can get Europe Direct managers to be really well up for this and emotionally engaged in ECIs themselves, I think they are a great multiplier for things like the EU Sign Day as well as ECIs in general. We do always, have information lying out there on ECIs, sort of very general ones that the tool exists, etc. But I have to tell you, from all the conversations I had with citizens, I don't think, well, I'm very interested to see what the YouGov survey says, but I would be very surprised if it's not exactly what I think, that nobody knows what the ECI is. And it's really unfortunate because it's such a, well, in principle, it's such a great tool, even though, as you just explained, Yasmina, it could be even better and should be better, but hopefully, one step after the other. I found in my research that there's a few things that are obviously really important to ECIs, and it's the topics are key. So the more emotional your topic, the better, because you get people. It's that personal networks count. So if you have personal contacts, and so big networks will always have higher results in terms of the availability to signatures. This all sounds obvious, but it's tricky now because of Corona. In COVID times, try going out to local events. You can't because they're not happening. So it is really important to try and think of other ways of getting this personal connection out there. And I'm sure you're all doing this, but just a tip anyway. And the third finding that I had is that timing is key. So if you have a topic that is timely because something else is happening, the media is on this topic or something is exciting, then actually you have much better chances of it being your ECI being in the media. And I think this is key, what Virginia was saying as well. It's important that local media as well as national media are actually much more aware of all the ECIs that are ongoing. And so maybe the Europe Directs can help in a little bit, but also I think it's important to kind of keep in mind all of these things on the success or the potential success of an ECI. I think one of the key things that we have to do, all of us, is what Virginia said, is democracy doesn't happen every 4 or 5 years when we go to vote. Democracy doesn't happen whenever we sign an ECI. Democracy happens every single day. And I think this is the most important thing that Europe Directs do. We have conversations with people each and every single day. So we tell them about what it is that democracy is about. So if we can include in all of these conversations a sentence about the possibility for citizens to also engage via an ECI, this is a fantastic possibility and a way for you to just multiply your outreach. So just a few little bit food for thought. Obviously, I'm only speaking for myself because I'm an ECI enthusiast and also happen to head the Europe Direct in Munich. But I have mentioned your fantastic initiative of the EU Sign Day to all the German Europe Directs anyway, for what it's worth. So hopefully we can try and raise awareness. And we're doing in Munich and Germany, we're doing a Europe May initiative. So we think that it's not enough to celebrate Europe or raise awareness about European issues on one day, Europe Day, but we actually think we should be the whole month. So if if you speak German or interested in the topic, do check out the Europe May website. Yeah, thank you, Virginia. And because on there, you're all very much invited to also post your ECIs. Post your ECIs, the ability that people can sign them, post your topics, but it's about engaging events. So if you have something that you want to share there, please feel free to do so. If you need any help, I'll put my email in there as well, of our Europe Direct Center. And obviously, feel free to get in touch on this. And yeah, well, good luck with the EU Sign Day. I think it's fantastic. And obviously, the EU Sign Day will always also feature in the Europe May celebrations, and hopefully raise awareness in Munich for lots of Munich signatures for all your ECIs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jenny. Thanks a lot also for the networking support that you're giving us with the other direct centers. To all of you, you know that I'm a last minute person, so I sent the invite to the Europe Direct Center for this meeting tonight a bit last minute, but luckily some of them already started and are interested in the initiative. So that's a good update for us that worked in the past weeks on the build up of this. So thanks, Jenny. So I don't know if in the meantime someone else wants to say something. I saw Roger Casale from Europe Future Fringe and New Europeans, and there is Omri, of course, and all the ECI's promoters, or maybe if some of you who haven't heard about the initiative before has any question. Otherwise, I have a lot of stuff to say, so don't keep me talking all the time. In the meantime, no, happy to say something. Roger Casale.
Thank you, Virginia. Thank you very much. Yeah, what a wonderful meeting. Congratulations, and fantastic to see everybody. There's a lot of energy in the room, and it's great that you've got such a wide-ranging group of people together. Virginia and Marco, congratulations. Thank you very much indeed from across Europe. Virginia, I sent you a slide. Oh, so I should say I'm Roger Casale from New Europeans, and we are also one of the organisations behind Europe Future Fringe, which is also a very good way to promote EU Sign Day and all of the initiatives that are represented here this evening. And I'll put a bit more information in the chat afterwards. We've all spending all our lives on Zoom, so I'm going to take an example from our Jenny and Yasmina's very excellent and brief presentations and be very short. I mean, we're here because we're worried about European democracy, but we should also be worried about next year's vintage. This is a picture of a vineyard in the Côte d'Or, where the freezing temperatures have created a situation where the wine next year is in danger. And of course, the response of the French vintners and farmers is to put candles in the fields and to bring fires into the fields. It's a beautiful image. I wanted to share it with you. But I think there's a message in there for us. That's fine. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you very much. Because as well as our concern about next year's vintage, we should be concerned about the future of democracy in Europe. Democracy is fragile. And I think we all have a candle, and we've got it here tonight. I've actually got mine on. I can show it to you. And I think this is really quite serious now. This is what this is about. It's important that we, as citizens and as civil society organizations and as campaign groups, take responsibility for the future of Europe. Because otherwise it's not just democracy next year that we might lose, like next year's Côte d'Or and Chardonnay, but we might also it's very, very difficult to get trust back, get democracy back when it goes. So we have to be, I want to be pessimistic, but I want to be realistic about the challenges we face and the importance and significance of what it is that we're called on here to do. And of course, we all had a chuckle last week, or we were scandalized by Sofagate. That was the other thing I wanted to mention to you. and the uncomfortable position that our leader, Ursula von der Leyen, was put in when she went to Istanbul, though no surprises there, given that Turkey's just moved out of the Istanbul Convention. But I mean, it's one thing to be told to sit on a sofa. It's another thing to be told to sit outside the room altogether, which is the position of civil society at the moment vis-a-vis the conference on the future of Europe. I mean, the future is yours is a very nice hashtag, but the reality is that citizens and civil society are not as at the heart of this, what was supposed to be a bottom-up, grassroots-driven process of discussion about the future of Europe. And that's something that we have to change. And I think the third point I would like to make is that I think the key, you know, Jedi said it very well, the key to getting success with European citizens initiatives is really about networking. And it's always asking ourselves, who is not in the room? You know, we have a wonderful group of people here tonight in the room, which gives me great pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much, Virginia, for bringing us together. Really, it's fantastic and great hope for the future. But I'm also asking myself, and perhaps you're asking yourselves, who's not in the room? Whose voices are not being heard? And what can we do as individuals and organizations to reach out to them to make sure that their voices are heard? Because I think that can be really transformative. But the key thing about the 9th of May and this initiative, Virginia, and that's why we're delighted to help with New Europeans and with Europe Future Fringe, is that we're stronger together. The synergies between our different initiatives are very, very powerful. And, you know, we're not going to sit back and take it. We're going to stand up and we're going to take the offer seriously that citizens are in the driving seat, even if sometimes we don't feel that we are when it comes to the future of Europe. And I think Europe Day is a great opportunity to rally us all, to come together, to work together. Too often we look at each other and we think, oh, well, I haven't got time to help you because I'm busy with what I'm doing. But actually, if we all help each other, it's going to increase the energy, it's going to increase the momentum, it's going to bring so many people behind all our initiatives that we can all do well. So congratulations to Virginia and to Marco for your vision. Thank you for the invitation. And we are there 100% with you. And yeah, please all bring your candles, your address books, your seats in case you do. I always go around with one of these now. I'm sending one to Ursula von der Leyen, so she's or rather to her bag carrier, so that she can always sit wherever she wants and talk to whoever she likes, and that's what we should do. And so I think we have a great opportunity on 9th of May to make our presence felt, to make our voices heard, and to advance the values and the projects that we all believe in. And we will be there with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roger. You always bring a touch of poetry to the meetings, which is very like heartwarming. So thanks a lot. Poetry and action. So thank you very much to Roger Casale. There is Alba that is supporting, and she needs to leave, but it's great. She's part also of the Citizens Takeover Europe coalition, which is going to be a key element for the success of the EU Sign Day, in particular for the actions that we can carry on addressing the conference on the future of Europe. There is Michele Fiorillo from Civico Europe, welcome. So if anyone wants to add something, in the meantime, I'll just share a quick update on the meeting that I had today with the European and Economic and Social Committee this afternoon. It was the first of the meeting lined up after the letter that we sent to Commissioner Jourova, and it was an opportunity to share our proposals, the quick, mid and long-term proposals. To be honest, the focus is very much on the instrument, so the activation of the instrument, and very neutral in terms of pushing for the different ECIs. However, I think there was also Adam and Sophie with me today. I think there are a couple of information that are relevant for all the ECIs promoters. And the first one is that you might have received the invite for the next ECI day, which is going to be on the 3rd and the 4th of June. The interesting thing is that another time the pandemic makes things better somehow, because what usually are the physical stalls on the ECI day this year will be online events. So I guess for all of us as ECI's promoters is an opportunity to reach a way broader audience than the 100 people that can be at the committee during a normal day. And another interesting political element is that as part of the topics that will be tackled during the ECI day, there is also the role of ECIs in the conference on the future of Europe. So I think it's an important opportunity for us as ECIs promoters to connect the two instruments, basically. I mean, you have all received the information from them, but I recommend also to prove that you are not just demanding stuff, but also using the opportunities that are available to take part into that with the spirit of the EU-Sign Day. They also appreciate the initiative. I'm not sure they will promote it as such, but they also committed to give more visibility to the ECIs on the website of the Economic and Social Committee. Didn't have the time today to do the report on the meeting because I was preparing the presentation, but I mean, you will get a report as well. I see a hand from Marco Cappato, stopglobalwarming.eu and Eumans.
Thank you, Virginia. Ciao to everybody. Just a very quick comment to underscore, in my opinion, how important it is to combine the method and the content. I am a European federalist, but I have to recognize that discussion about reforming the European Union has lost interest compared to what was happening in decades ago in the public opinion. But at the same time, to fight for a specific issue, it risks to be teethless, so without it risks to be ineffective if we don't consider also the need of reforming the European institution. And this is why an initiative like the EU Sign Day, for me, it's really a new frontier of combining the need of reforming European Union with the need of achieving some specific goals. Of course, we are not obliged to agree 100% on each and every specific issues that we are carrying on with our European Citizen Initiative. You can be interested about climate change and not being interested, I don't know, about the universal basic income and the other way around. But usually there is a strong sharing of goals. As I said, we are not obliged of agreeing 100%, but at the same time, we agree probably 100% or almost on the idea of having citizens making participate in a wider extent to the life of EU institutions. So I don't see this EU Sign Day as a one-shot initiative. I think it could become a permanent occasion to combine the method and the content, and the fact that this is starting with the beginning of the conference on the future of Europe is really a very big occasion in order to avoid that the discussion about the future of Europe become or remains only at the institutional level of how reforming the EU machinery, but it touches also on the issues that can be solved true European democracy. This is why I think it's a very, very good occasion what we have created together this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco Cappato. I see a few people that didn't take part in the preparation, so of course feel free to ask questions or also to share ideas on how your organization, or even what your organization is doing for 9th of May. I mean, it's also a good opportunity to know what's boiling in the European out of the bubble. I see a hand from Jenny, so please, Jenny.
Sorry, I just wanted to add something that I forgot earlier. I really liked your point, Virginia, about ECI members being subject matter experts on whatever the topic is. That's also, don't forget, that's also really important to Europe Directs, because we're always organizing events on all sorts of topics and always looking for interesting people to talk about these topics. So especially if you have people in several other countries with different language skills, etc., maybe just also include an email to local Europe Directs to kind of offer the opportunity to speak at an event if they have an event on whatever your topic is. Just wanted to add that because it might be of use. Thanks.
Thank you, and thanks to the Voters Without Borders European Citizen Initiative, we have the list of all the Europe Direct centers. So I'm gonna circulate that also among the ECI's promoters that are participating in the initiative, because it's already a work that is done, and I think it's helpful. It's collective intelligence. So to follow up on what Jenny suggested, we have an instrument, an additional instrument, all of us as promoters of ECIs. So that's going to be shared as well. Questions, comments, ideas, reasons for support, what you will do in your daily life now that you know that there is a Usign Day. Otherwise, we can walk you through the website briefly, so you see the final work on that. I will do it. Ok, one second of Italian. Sì, Sibilla, c'è la traduzione. Dovresti vedere il pallino per l'interpretazione sotto alla barra di Zoom, come durante l'assemblea di Eumans. Okay, sorry, whispering in Italian about the translations. Okay, I'm gonna share the almost finished website, so I think it also helps to get a better sense of how this is gonna work. Publicity for Munich, and
thank you for sharing that. Always good. A little sneak in promotion.
Exactly. And here is the almost completed website. And thanks again, Alicia, because really was impressive work in a limited amount of time. So the website has only one main message, which is the Europe Sign Day is the EU Sign Day. And there is a call to action on exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it, and higher visibility on the possibility to share it on multiple platforms, including the private messaging like Telegram and WhatsApp, and the visibility to the hashtag. This is an old video that we made a few months ago as Eumans for promoting a group of ECIs, but one of our goals as a group is to try to have our very own video, potentially with testimonials and supporters of the EU Sign Day. We are addressing also the member of the European Parliament for this. So of course, everything we can do it if there is a bit of a shared effort, but one idea is to have a video that displays the initiative. Of course, there are all the ECIs available to be shared, and I invite the ECI's promoters. We will share the link again if you want to change the wording of how your ECI is described. It's important to tell that also for those who didn't follow the meeting before, that we will feature all the ongoing ECIs, even if maybe their promoters didn't engage in the build-up of the event, because as we said, this is a proposal for the EU institutions, so it's not a one ECI campaign or one organization campaign, and so it's a sort of a service approach. exactly what we ask on the 9th, what we want to do on the 9th of May, and the different ways how organizations or individuals can support EU Sign Day. I take this opportunity to summarize. The idea is to include the logo and the link into your communication of other things that you're going to do on the 9th of May. We are going to create also the generator of the Facebook post profile with the logo. The newsletter banner, invite the EU Sign Day team to present the initiative, the donation, and the appeal to the EU institution for our proposals. With the intent of, as I said, building a community around people interested and aware of the ECI, and with the networking efforts of Citizens Take Over Europe, we will collect email addresses for people that want to be kept in the loop. And you can see who are the promoters and the links for the promoters. Couple of other interesting things. Of course, there is a page to explain why we are doing this a bit more thoroughly, and a page that lists exactly the proposals that we put together, not in general for the reform of the ECI. That is a longer process, and there are a lot of organizations like Democracy International, the ECI campaign, as well as the network of Citizens Take Over Europe that are working on that. But we will start with an appeal on these specific measures. And this is something that we didn't discuss, but I hope you like. Eumans and Associazione Luca Coscioni developed a chatbot that provides information on participatory democracy instruments at a European level. So we think this is a good opportunity to help citizens to learn more about their participatory democracy rights. It's a prototype, so it might not function perfectly, but we will explain it in the content. But it's another way to offer the more engaged citizens an opportunity to learn which are the instruments available of participatory democracy, and to train the machine learning mechanism behind the chatbot to answer these questions. And actually, for all of us who are interested in the topic, this can be an opportunity to help us to improve this instrument, who doesn't store any data, is a anonymized chatbot, but we think it's an additional instrument to push this idea of the involvement of citizens. And of course, there is a donation page, because nothing happens without money. So it will be possible to donate for the specific campaign, different amount of money, and the idea that I think we agreed upon together, but of course we can refine these as we progress, is that all the money donated will be used and will be invested into the social media advertising and digital advertising for inform more people about the EU Sign Day initiative. So it's almost ready. We just need with Alicia to figure out a couple of technical challenges that we had, of course, yesterday. But this is the website, and it's similar to what you find on the European Commission website, with the difference that the link is easier to reach, and that the call to action is clearly on the signatures and sharing the possibility to sign the initiative. I see a Europe Direct who just joined, super happy, even though we don't know from where. And okay, I mean, there is a new participant, so we might take some time if you want to listen something. And I don't know if the other, okay, Michele Fiorillo has a raised hand, and then Helvig from the Unconditional Basic Income ECI. Michele.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry if I don't have the video, but I'm walking. First of all, thanks to Virginia, all the Eumans team to organize this amazing initiative, very much needed also to show to the institutions what they could do themselves, but it's good that the civil society organizations and the citizen lead also the good way forward for Europe. Not just to say that the president of Civic Europa, Francesca Ratti and Guillaume Crossa, could not be here, but I mean, they asked me to be here to confirm that also Civic Europa want to support this initiative, and so we will, of course, share on our channels among our membership and contacts this important day of mobilization. That's all. And yeah, I think regarding the European Citizen Initiative, there is here, Carsten, I guess you already talked about the instrument and how could be reformed at best. And so I think this day is also important to show that, yeah, despite the fact that, as we know, very often this European Citizen Initiative, they don't reach the objective, even if all the signatures are collected. And so there are also some people they are doubting about the usefulness of this instrument. We strongly believe with Civic Europa that this, in fact, is one of the instruments. It actually is maybe the first transnational instrument of participatory democracy. And maybe someone other already said, but now this instrument also is seen from all over the world as a possible instrument also for transnational democracy at global level. There is a campaign, some of us are also involved there, to have a World Citizen Initiative. And good news is the Secretary General Gutierrez is putting this idea also among the ones as to be discussed for the reform of the United Nations for the next years. So let's show the way to the institutions at the European and global level, and viva la democrazia. And thank you, Virginia, and all.
Thank you, Michele Fiorillo from Civico Europe. And don't say to Marco Cappato there is the World Citizen Initiative, because I already feel the pressure of that. Elvig Fenner from the Unconditional Basic Income European Citizen Initiative, and then Sibilla Barbieri, who is gonna speak in Italian, but for the English speakers, there is the translation available. So Elvig and then Sibilla.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, together with Ali here, I represent the Unconditional Basic Income, ECI, and I also representing UBI for All, which is a raffle of UBI we're doing as a vehicle for getting signatures for our ECI. And before I have to leave to read my daughter a book, 7 o'clock, I would like to take the opportunity to ask you again to support the survey. Jenny, you expressed it the best way I can imagine. I mean, we all need the signatures, we all ECIs. And the main reason from my point of view, why it's so difficult to get the signatures is the big lack of presence in the media and the press. And yeah, the survey, the results of the survey would be a very good chance to be attractive for the press and to get in the media. So yeah, again, I would like to ask you to support us financially. I think this is a very good idea, and we all can use the number for our own purposes. If it's whether it's an ECI or one of the other organizations, I think this is all the common topic we have. Yeah, if you want to contribute to the survey, just write Virginia or direct it to me. I'm organizing it. So in communication with YouGov, we are in progress to figure out the questionnaire for the 2 closed questions. Yeah, so we would be happy to order it, and we need to order it next week latest to be just in time ready with the results for the EU Sign Day. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Elvig. I shared in the chat the preparatory work of the survey, and so everyone can have a look, also those who didn't hear the preparatory work of the preparatory work. And so you can add the information there, and you have our contact, so you can reach out to us. So Sibilla Barbieri.
Yes, I prefer to speak in Italian from now on. Grazie. Allora, la prima cosa che punterei a sottolineare è il fatto che noi stiamo parlando di strumenti, le ICE, le petizioni, eccetera, che non sono sufficienti. Non sono sufficienti sia perché sono assolutamente irraggiungibili, non tanto le petizioni ovviamente, ma le ICE, e anche perché la loro effettiva possibilità di incidere è molto relativa. Quindi io credo che sia sostanziale sostenere questo dal punto di vista di una rete, perché per spingere sia per le singole iniziative, sia, perdonami, io sento la traduzione, ho
No,
difficoltà.
ok, puoi, sempre con l'icona con cui decidi la lingua, se vai sulla tua, puoi mutare l'original audio. E quindi tu così non...
Yes. Io
quindi
continuo a sentirlo, anche se lo muto.
Ah, cazzo, sorry. Then I don't know.
Quando mettere off?
Va a
Ok,
mettere... ok.
anyway, faccio una frase e concludo e poi traduciamo, se no continuamente. Ok, allora dicevo che è molto importante partecipare come cittadini anche per spingere una situazione di blocco della riforma proprio delle istituzioni europee. Quindi qual è un'azione ulteriore che noi potremmo intraprendere? Il fatto che per adesso, per esempio, Virginia diceva che il nostro sito è un'offerta che viene fatta alle istituzioni praticamente, che si trovano con un lavoro fatto dai cittadini senza mezzi per tentare di sbloccare una situazione di non comunicazione. Dall'altra parte sappiamo che esiste un sito che invece le istituzioni stanno creando di comunicazione con i cittadini.
Sorry to interrupt. Sibi, se togli l'audio del tuo computer, secondo me tu puoi parlare...
Fatto.
Vai, prova.
Allora, a questo punto dicevo che quindi abbiamo una situazione in cui abbiamo un sito che noi stiamo offrendo come cittadini, un sito che le istituzioni invece stanno facendo, ma non abbiamo una situazione di sovrapposizione, di comunicazione reale. Io credo che un punto sostanziale sia l'importanza di creare un fronte comune politici-cittadini. Intendo dire, sarebbe utile creare un comitato a favore di questo giorno della firma europeo, un comitato misto in cui partecipino dei politici sensibili all'importanza esplosiva della democrazia partecipativa. Quali sono i 3 fronti che questi politici insieme ai cittadini di questo comitato dovrebbero sottolineare? Da una parte, ovviamente l'informazione di cui abbiamo detto, al servizio di tutte queste cause, ma a servizio anche della democrazia partecipativa. Dall'altra, lavorare allo sviluppo degli strumenti che abbiamo detto che sono inadeguati, quindi informazione, e terzo argomento, la fruibilità di questi strumenti, che sono la fruibilità, il fatto di renderli incisivi. Bene, credo di aver...
Ok, accendi l'audio. Ok, thank you, Sibilla. The interpreters, the interpreters are amazing, and I want to thank again Amalia and Valentina because they are donating their time for this tonight. So thanks a lot again. But the technology sometimes betrays some of us. Michele, I still see your hand, so I don't know if it's left from before or if you want to add something. I think it was from before. Okay, so last minute to sign up for speaking if you want to comment, add, integrate, etc., etc. Otherwise, we head toward the conclusion. I'll take it as we go toward the conclusions. So thanks everyone for having joined. I will share the presentation and the materials, and we are aiming to be live at the beginning of next week with the website. So everyone who attended the meeting will receive the materials. And of course, we ask for your help to inform others about the possibility to support the initiative. As you have seen, the EU Sign Day initiative, as you have seen, is a light touch type of approach that is requested to organizations, but it's very important to try and spread this as much as possible. I want to point out exactly, Karsten Berg shared a survey that was developed within the Citizens Take Over Europe coalition. I don't know if Karsten, if you want to say a few words about the survey as well. I think since we're all here, maybe.
Yeah, good evening. Well, you're already in the closing phase, and I apologize for being so late. Yeah, this is a survey on the future of Europe that we have, as Virginia just said, co-created within the Citizens Takeover Alliance. And it will still be ongoing after the launch of the conference, and it will be on the conference on the future as such, but also the general future of Europe. And you will see it's a bit of a mix of a qualitative and quantitative survey, which is a bit new in these contexts. So feel free to and invited to take part. Maybe we could make this a topic in one of our future sessions a bit more. So again, big thank you to Virginia for your great work.
Thank you, Karsten. So to summarize, launch of the EU Sign Day website as soon as we are done with the management of the privacy policy as well as the technical details, but it's going to be live next week. With all the co-organizers of this initiative, we are connected via email and will be in touch. I just mentioned that next week, Thursday, 22nd of April is Earth Day. And so we are gonna most likely not have the weekly meeting because the stopglobalwarming.eu initiative is most likely be full on that specifically. And thanks everyone. The whole point now is spreading the voice in the multiple ways that we have to make sure that the build up is stronger towards the 9th of May. And I want to thank all the individuals, organizations, and ACI's promoters that contributed to the work done so far for the EU Sign Day, because it's really something quite powerful and that it wouldn't have happened without the contribution of everyone. And happy Thursday. Thanks a lot.
Ciao Virginia, ciao everyone.
Ciao,
Thanks.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
goodbye.
Great work.
Thanks, cheers.